Greetings and welcome to Victoria 3. This is the first episode of my first run on this fantastic strategy game developed by Paradox Interactive. It's a game that here on the channel we have been waiting for so long. I've been talking about it for months. So I'm happy that finally the game is released and I am now able to bring it to the YouTube channel. So I hope you will enjoy this series. I cannot promise it will be a long one because I still have a lot to learn. So I will make God knows how many mistakes, but who cares? We are here to learn the game together. And if you know me already and follow me also on Twitch, you know that I've been playing already the game there. But I thought that it was time to try to bring some Victoria 3 content on YouTube, and so yeah, now I know the game enough to try to make a proper run, but let's see. So for this run we are moving to the Horn of Africa, and we are doing that because the country of my choice is this one that I cannot really pronounce correctly. I don't know if it's Shewa or Shewa. I would probably call it Shewa. It's an unrecognized power. It's ranked 120. It has a decent army, decent GDP for the area, and also decent population compared to the neighboring countries. Let me go to the game rules. I'm going to enable Ironman, even though this is the first time that you don't really need to enable Ironman in order to also have the available achievement. The rest I'm going to leave on standard, and I think we are ready to start the game. So let me tell you more about this choice, why I've decided to move to the Horn of Africa. First of all, from what I've seen, I also checked the other countries that are in the same region, and it seems to be quite challenging, but I might be wrong. Maybe we will be lucky. The reason why I picked Shewa is because it's the country that has basically the best starting condition compared to the other countries in the region. We have some gold reserves, we have some logging camps that we will need for the production of wood. Maybe it's not sufficient, but at least to start it should be sufficient. And also we have, let's say, the best stats compared to the neighboring countries in terms of population, in terms of GDP, literacy, etc. If you navigate to the culture tab, you will see that there is here nation formation. And we have the possibility here to create the Empire of Ethiopia. Let's take a closer look at this minor unification, what it is required to complete it. We need to control over at least one state region. And as you can see from the list below, these are the 4 state regions we could try to go for. We need only one. And of course, the simplest, or at least the most approachable, is the one that you can see here, Oromia. Because in the end we already own part of it, and the other part is under the control of this neighboring country, which is Harar. Harar also has good stats, to be honest. They are an unrecognized power, ranked 146. They have a smaller army than ours, smaller GDP, smaller population, but still it's a decent country, I would say. Probably after Shewa is the best country in the region. I'm not 100% sure, but I will say that it lies on safer grounds. Also because it's one of the few countries in this region that also has the availability of logging camps. This is one of the main challenges in the Horns of Africa. If you're going to play in the Horns of Africa, you're going to struggle with the lack of wood, which is absolutely fundamental at the beginning of the game. So that's why I think that either Shewa or Harar are good starting point, because both have some production, some internal production of wood. Another challenge in both cases is that both countries are having, I can show you from here, under trade policy, isolationism. And this, of course, is very bad because it means that you need to be basically self-sufficient. You need to produce everything within your country. That's why then you need to rely definitely on wood. And if you don't have wood, you are basically screwed. Another disadvantage of playing in this region, of course, is that we don't have many technologies at the beginning of the game. As you can see, we do not even have academia, which is needed in order to have universities. So I will say that probably we need to start with academia, because in this way we will discover all the other technologies in a shorter time. Let's take a look at the government. Right now we have the landowners 55% of cloud, and we will leave them. Let's bring the Oriental Orthodox Church with 19% of cloud. The legitimacy remained 100%. And in this way, maybe later on, we will be able to pass law to, for example, increase the healthcare system or the education of our citizens. We basically have no trade routes that we can form because of what I mentioned before, that we are basically isolationist. So we have unused structure production, and this is something that we will use, first of all, to build in Shewa. And this is the Age of Princes, as you can see also from this journal entry. So basically this is the phase where this entire region was fragmented, as you can see from the map, into different realms, and yeah, they were all fighting for the control of the area. Arar has already an attitude towards us that is cautious, because they are aware that we might want to invade them. And they are improving relationship with one nation that is for us irrelevant, but also with Kaffa, which is dangerous because this is also neighboring with us. So in case if they will in the future support them, we will have to cover two fronts. So maybe we should also improve relationship with Kaffa. Expensive government goods. This is exactly what I was referring to, the fact that we will need to have wood. And that's the reason why I started already to create logging camps. And I will also use a decree to encourage the resource industry in Sheva. And there is already a diplomatic play in the area. As you can see, our opponent, Arar, our future opponent Arar, has declared war against Sidamo. I will declare neutrality, and then once the war starts, I will start my war against Arar. As you can see now, the budget is negative, but it is fine because we have plenty of gold reserves for the moment, and probably will need also to extend the production of cotton in parallel to the logging camps. We can do it in the other state that we control, and we can actually issue another decree to encourage agricultural activity in Shevan Amara. The outlaw prince, a minor noble of the House of Solomon, has rapidly risen to power and popularity. Legally an outlaw, he has defeated every army sent against him, and now he seeks to take the throne of Sheva by force. We will let Tewodros lead us to glory. This basically means that now we have Prince Tewodros Solomon as ruler and politician, belongs to the landowner, he's a royalist, belongs to the Hamara culture, is liked, age 45, has a plus 30 of army offense, very good, he's romantic, expert, offensive planner, and political operator. Let's go with conquer state, Oromia. At the start of the play, we will face these enemies, Harar. They have a smaller army than ours, and they are busy, occupied on two different fronts. So let's try. Now we can sway the other nations, and the only option for the moment who seem to be Sidamo. They are currently fighting against them. We could offer an obligation. Let's do it. Actually, it makes no sense if you think about that, because Sidamo is basically trying to conquer the same territory that we are trying to conquer, but still they will accept our obligation. It makes no sense at all. And also, somebody decided to join Arar, and this is the Bejemder. They do not share border with us, so we should be on the safe side. We need to recruit a general. Let's do it now. Maybe let's pick Bekele Ali Aba Deyas from the landowner. He's imperious, which is a negative trait in terms of popularity, but he is also a mountain combat expert. And he has plus 100% aggressive maneuver chance. Let's pick him. We can send him to the Omonia front, activate conscript from both territories. So the war is about to start, and yeah, I think we might be able to defeat our opponents, considering that they are busy also on other fronts with other countries. So let's go to arms. After an initial expansion, rapid expansion, I think we slow down. But for the moment we are still leading. Perfect. Capitulation. The following war goals were enforced on Arar. Conquer Oromia, which I believe it ended also the... No, now we are... Okay, this is the war with the ally of our previous opponent, but we don't share any border with them, so we don't have the possibility to create a front. So this will basically end on its own. I can even propose a peace deal. Very good. Ah, Arar moved here. Look at this. Arar moved here because while we conquered Arar, Arar conquered the territory of, I don't remember what was the name, but basically the state that was before here and that we were allied with. So in the end, it was a good outcome for us because we managed to get the largest part of their territory, and also I believe that now we will be able, if I am not wrong, if I go to culture and to nation formation, we will be able officially already to form Ethiopia, and we do it immediately. And achievement unlocked, Solomon quest, very good. And now we can support diplomatic interest. This is actually very good. The area of Nile is a little bit challenging. It will be interesting for the Suez Canal, but yeah, let's maybe include this. And the good thing is that I believe now we will be even able, I mean, if we would research the related tech, we will be even able to colonize. Because as you can see now with this move, we basically moved up the ranks. So now we are the 48th country in the world. We are now an unrecognized regional power. The population went above 2 millions, while the GDP is already above 1 million. We have, of course, many radicals because we englobated a large territory, but also the loyalists are improving over time. The budget is still positive. We still have gold reserve. We managed to progress rapidly across the ranks. So I would say that things for the moment are quite interesting. It might be good to also bring to the government the armed forces. It decreased significantly the legitimacy, but we might need their support in the future. Also, it's good for the military development later on because we can get nice bonuses from the support of the armed forces. So let's try to bolster them. Insufficient taxation capacity. There are definitely certain things that will need to be addressed. I could create a government center first of all. But I, in theory, will need to unlock several technologies here because centralization can help, central archives can help. So there are many things under society that I need to research. And once I'm done with that, I will try probably to move in the direction of colonization. Maybe it's too early for that. After all, it's only that July 1837. But in basically 1 year, we managed already to complete an important achievement. We definitely need to open our first university in Ethiopia because that will speed up the process of discovering the next technologies. And as I've already said, we really need to discover a number of them, especially under society. Against the odds, despite not enjoying full rights under Ethiopian law, some wealthier Sunni people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they will normally be excluded from. I don't want to increase the radicals for discrimination, and I can afford to damage a little bit the relationship with the trade unions and also with the Orthodox Church, of course. With the Orthodox Church I'm a little bit more concerned, but for the moment it's fine. Very good, we have academia unlocked, so let's boost our literacy by bringing the first university into Oromia. And then let's pick a new technology. As I was saying, well, international trade might be definitely useful. Let's prioritize this before centralization or international relations, because after all, we are already going to improve the taxation with the creation of the government administration. So let's prioritize this. Blessed are the meek. The Oriental Orthodox Church in Oromia are assuring peasants, Somali-oriented Orthodox, that despite the harsh condition of their lives, they are serving the greater good of the Ethiopian nation. Serfs shall be rewarded in the year after for their service. Well, this is an interesting choice. I could get plus 50% loyalists from standard of living increase, or actually reduce the radicals from standard of living decrease. So let's see if the standard of living decrease is the highest. Yes, it's the highest contributors of radicals. So let's definitely go for the second option. And I'm not seeing the effect of what I've just picked, but I will imagine that it will help us somehow. And the loyalists, yes, are increasing. Okay, I think it's time to bring some order within our territories. So let's establish a local police force. This law has high chances to be passed. And paradoxically, the taxation capacity is still low, even though we have built the government administration building, which means that we might need to build another one, but I don't want to do it. Okay, international trade is here, so let's move to the next one, which is centralization. Perfect, we now have local police force, the first institution that we have unlocked. This will give landowners more political strength, but at least it will reduce the risk of turmoil. We are also about to have the first University of Ethiopia to be completed, to be built, and this should boost further than our literacy. Right now is 21.1, already higher than when we started the run. Okay, we have officially our first university. And now that we have a university, we have expensive government goods, because of course we need more paper. So paper mills, let's prioritize them over the rest. Unfortunately, we still have an isolationist economy, which means that we cannot easily, or actually we cannot at all buy products from the market, from the other countries. So we have to rely on our internal production. I've just decreased the taxes a little bit to give more budget to my people, and even though now I have a negative budget, this is not a problem, because as you can see we have important gold reserves, so we can burn them a little bit. Monument to the Emperor. A statue of Emperor Tewodros Solomon was commissioned, and it has been suggested that it displayed proudly in Oromia. I mean, honestly, it deserved, considering that shortly after coming to the power, he managed to form the Empire of Ethiopia. But let's see what are the options. A monument worthy of the Emperor will give me an increase of prestige for the next 5 years, but 2%, there will be an increase on the percentage of radicals in Oromia of 2%. Perhaps not everyone wishes to be reminded of the Emperor would, on the other hand, decrease of 2 points the interest group approval of the landowners, which right now represent, just as a reminder, the most supported part of our government with the 51% of clout. They are loyal though, loyal plus 14, let's go here. We can afford that. Perfect, we reached January 1st, 40, and I will say that we can close the episode here at this point. I am quite satisfied with this first episode of this run because we managed to already form the empire of Ethiopia. But not only, in general, I think things are progressing nicely. Our gross domestic product increased. Now we are 49 in the world. The population grew significantly. We now have 2.17 million of citizens. We are 42 in the world. The number of radicals, even though it's important, it's very small compared to the general population. The budget right now, it's negative because I am giving some relief to the population. I've reduced the taxes. We can afford that because we have anyway a huge amount of gold reserve. So for the moment, I will say that things are progressing nicely. Of course, there are still some problems. We have a lack of paper, which is something I'm currently working on with the creation of these paper mills. And we also have an insufficient taxation capacity, which improved already significantly in the last months, but we need to do a little bit more. And in this regard, I'm already searching for centralization technology, which will give us a plus 25 of taxation capacity. For the moment, I will say that it looks promising, but again, I have still much to learn about Victoria 3, so don't be surprised if things go to the dogs all of a sudden and then this run will be maybe short-lived. It might happen. But for the moment, it seems to be under control, so that's all from Ethiopia. It's the 1st of January 1840, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers!